All right, we are live.
She had like a little cat suit on.
In 3, 2, 1. We're here with Mr. Tatiana himself and R. Kelly's estranged stepbrother who helped change some of these
who's
women.
who?
You're Tatiana himself.
But why am I a tot?
On the gang. We got R. Kelly's stylist. R. Kelly's basement. He was this dude on the phone right now. Let me tell you guys. Let me introduce him. This is the guy who arranged and made the decor in the R. Kelly's dungeon where he kept a lot of these women.
Okay. First of all, I just want to let the audience know I take sexual assault and sexual misconduct very seriously.
So I don't.
And in no way are these claims.
Why wouldn't I take it serious when you got
true.
sexually assaulted in prison? You called me, and I dropped everything.
You have two.
I paid $20,000 for the lawyer to try to get you out.
Bro, how many rapes weren't you convicted of or caught for?
All right. You say Captain El Capitan, fuck out of here.
No, for real.
No, for real, yeah. Like this guy.
That's my niece.
What
That's
the
my
fuck
niece
is
in the
wrong?
background.
This guy's ATL crazy, like ATL crazy.
ATL crazy.
But listen, we did so well. Guys, you guys were right. I should talk about more current events because
yeah.
That's my daughter you hear in the background. Magda, tell Paige to be social somewhere else.
Right.
Well, anyway, hopefully I'll pick that up.
So first of all, because we were talking about the Jussie Smollett thing last time we were here.
Okay.
Who was right?
You were right.
I agreed. Like I agreed with you because the whole story didn't make sense. The whole story was sus.
Me, Reggie.
I know, but the whole thing was suspect. Like you don't want to not believe it, but the whole thing was suspect. Everybody thought it was suspect. And then Oprah jumped out the window.
What was his goal?
I think, like Empire was coming to a close and he was just like, how do I, what's the cheat code for fame right now? And being a victim is it. Like you look at the whole Kirkpatrick effect, I'm with Cap hashtags and all that other stuff. Him being a victim of the NFL sort of put him in another lane.
Okay. So that's the Lank, you agree with that? To me, that's a reach. I mean, I believe the alleged, rumors are true in my opinion, but to me that's a reach. Like, I'm gonna have some Nigerians attack me, MAGA, tie loose around my neck, and this is gonna help my career. Like, how desperate.
But it was working though.
It was.
Before people found out it was fake, first of all, he was everywhere. He was all over the news. Okay. He was booked for interviews.
Everybody's Instagram.
Yeah, he was booked for gigs. He was on stage calling himself the gay Tupac. You didn't see that video?
Nah.
He was on stage. He was like, I'm the gay Tupac. I fought back.
How do you say that with a straight face?
He did. And when the minute he says that, and you
how
put it in
how you said it? Like, I'm the gay Tupac.
Yeah, he was like, I fought the fuck back. I'm the gay too. And then you put it in the context of he faked the whole thing. You already see what his goals were.
Hey, Iceman, can you put the body in the freezer another time? You have to do it while you're on this call.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We can hear the kneecaps and the elbows hitting the freezer. Fucking Iceman here.
Damn, how can you hear me, man?
I don't know. Just put the lotion
down.
Go. Pornhub will be there when this podcast is finished.
I know, but this clip they may report it. I don't think it's allowed in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is my thing. That's a tall order in my opinion. Like, I'm just gonna get somebody to write. You got to be really desperate. That means Empire wasn't giving him he wasn't making no real coin.
He was making I think $60,000 or $70,000 an episode. But he wanted a raise.
Right.
Apparently, this is allegedly this is what they're saying.
So he let a couple dudes. It didn't even look like a real beat up. It was like a bitch smack across his face.
Little ass scratch, man.
And when you compare what bigger stars are making per episode, Terrence Howard's making $1 million an episode.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
He's making half a million. No, he's making $160,000 per episode, and it's a 15-episode season.
You sure Terrence Howard isn't making $500,000 an episode? I think it was something. I think it was $500,000 an episode last time I checked. It was $500,000 an episode.
More than us. More than us at the end of the day.
He was the star though.
Yeah, he was the
star.
biggest draw. He was the biggest star. You have Taraji, who was a breakout star, who's making, I would say, minimum like 300, just off my own estimates, 300 racks an episode. So maybe he wanted to.
That sounds feasible. 300 bands.
Yeah.
Episode, that sounds feasible.
Towards the end of like Friends, depending on the show, towards the end of Friends, I think the last couple of seasons of Friends, they were making $1 million an episode.
I guess that makes sense if you're getting a lot
Seinfeld.
of
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Game of Thrones.
One motherfucker was making Cersei was making $2 million an episode by the end of Game of Thrones, bro.
Which one, Cersei? The redhead?
No,
the sexy one.
The sexy, what's it called again?
The Queen.
The Queen. Yeah.
The Queen. Yeah, the Queen.
Yeah, she bad. She bad. She a freak though. She fucked her brother, but
Yeah, she did.
She a little freak though.
Big Bang Theory. Those guys were making like 1.5 an episode.
Can we stop talking about people that make more money than
Yo, can we say this? They gonna stop trying to make Taraji P. Henson a sex symbol, bro. No, not me. I'm good.
What? Bro,
I don't like Taraji,
good, bro.
You don't like Taraji?
No,
I've had a crush on Taraji since
Boy.
Big Boy. Yeah.
Baby Boy.
But you talking about a movie that was at least 15 years ago?
I don't care. Like I still have a crush on Taraji.
Out of here, bro.
I still have a thing for Taraji.
I like Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington. That's
Kerry. Nah. You don't remember Kerry Washington was in this?
Save the Last
Kerry
Dance.
Washington got it.
Kerry Washington. Matter of fact, Kerry Washington in that movie with Chris Rock was bad.
Which one was that?
Bad
I think I Love My Wife.
She was bad in that.
Nah, she was bad in that.
That Spike Lee movie back in the day.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Link?
She played in the Spike Lee movie. That's when I got hip to her.
I seen her Save the Last Dance when she played the dude brother.
Yeah, she wasn't good in that. She ain't had money yet. She ain't glowed up yet.
Nah. She right though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kerry Washington.
But that being said, like, I mean, it's a shame people do shit like that for fame. What?
Megan Good. You can't tell me shit about no Megan Good, my G.
Megan Good's bad, but she's saved now.
She all there. Kerry Washington, she all there. Who else is all there?
Taraji could definitely get it.
Taraji, she's
Scarlett Johansson, but I think we're talking about black women.
There.
Oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson is OG.
Definitely.
Like you don't like white girls.
I like all women, bro.
Yeah.
I don't have a particular like.
What was this about the transgender male thing that you talked about?
I was asking Reggie.
No, not that. The topic that you mentioned, transgender male, female athletes.
Oh, bro, these transgender athletes for track and field went to Connecticut.
Okay.
And so it's
this is actually a really good question.
Right. Go ahead.
Male to female transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
But athletes though.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were born a man, right? You lived pretty much up until like maturity, male maturity, right? And then you become a female, or you transition yourself into a female athlete. Some still haven't even had the operation, which means had their testicles cut off or anything. They went to this track and field meet and dominated.
Yeah.
That's not right.
You see, right. the topic came up first big time when Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast, and there was basically a fighter who was male to female transitioning and was basically fighting MMA and like dominating. Now this person, this person wasn't even like that great of a fighter, but the strength differential was just so great that someone way more skilled than this person was just demolished.
That's dirty.
And they found out
anybody with common sense could tell you that's
not fair. Now there's this whole like PC conversation about equality, but then we have to have a conversation about science, bone structure, and the people who know the fight game is just a man's built differently. Your bone structure, your pelvic structure, so on and so forth.
Bone density.
Yeah, it's
testosterone, residual testosterone.
Let me play devil's advocate, but if you're taking these, let's say, if you're a male, you transition into a woman, you're obviously taking medicine to reverse
your hormones,
right? Your hormones. So,
but it can only do so much if you're like if you're like a kid and you start taking hormones, it slows things down. So it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're a grown man and you start taking hormones, your puberty did what it was going to do already.
How long does that stuff last?
The hormones in your system?
Yeah, like how long?
As long as you keep taking it.
As long as you keep taking it, but if you take it before puberty, like a lot of the effects are irreversible.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like if you have like really like if you look at a lot of the transgenders who like practically like, you know, look like genetic women, a lot of them started off like really early, like during or before puberty.
So that means the parents just co-signed it.
Right, exactly.
Which is another whole thing.
Hormone replacement therapy, yeah.
Because the parents have to co-sign it, and then it's like they're at an age where maybe such a big decision is, I don't know.
How you feel about that? Like, what if, you know,
it's above my pay grade.
Decided like, you know what, I'm tired of being I want to do this. I'm serious about it. If not, I'm gonna off myself. Like, would you guys co-sign that?
Man, that's such a good question, bro.
It's crazy because there's so many things I thought I wanted.
Now, Reggie. Okay, for sure.
You said what?
Your name Link now.
Two niggas can't talk at the same time.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Link. He said y'all, but go ahead, Link.
No, he said Link.
He said y'all.
I'm not sure what I said.
Bro, you can't take my spot, Reggie.
I think I should square up. That's what I think. He did.
Reggie been working on his jab, but I'll slip that jab and sit him down.
Answer the real question.
He's slipping a lot of things down in Atlanta. But you go ahead and finish, Link.
Wow. All right, no, man, that's such a loaded question, and I like immediately when you asked me that question, like I have such a soft spot for like children. You know what I mean? Like because I have a daughter, so if my daughter said that she always felt like a boy, my daughter's 11 years old, she said she always felt like a boy, and then, you know, said she was depressed because she felt like a boy, she dressed like a boy. First thing I would do is take her to counseling, make a commitment to take her to counseling first. Because some of these, like Reggie was saying, some of these decisions that parents are making just to be progressive or just to like feel like just to make their kid happy, like it's to the detriment of the child, because they say when they get older, it was just kids going through something. You know what I mean? Kids kind of like, maybe they look awkward in middle school or something like that. And you letting them you let them as a parent, it's irresponsible for you to let them make a life-changing decision. Something that could be you could damage yourself long-term, right? And then a lot of people, like there's even a documentary where a lot of people like, that started early, when they got older, they realized that was just a phase that they was going through. You know what I mean? So,
but it's irreversible now.
Yeah, I don't think with my daughter, I don't think that I would take her being super sad and saying she doesn't feel like she's in her right body. I would take it serious because she's sad and kids are killing themselves nowadays. However, I would start with counseling. Now, my son, it would hit me a little harder, and I don't want to swim into ignorant waters. You know what I mean? So, like, I can't really speak. I don't have a son, so I can't really say for sure. I just gun to head. I would just say like it would be counseling, but also it would be more or less like a heavier handed approach. You know, which some may disagree with. So that's how I feel about that.
When you say heavy-handed, do you mean you would strike your child because he wanted to be a little girl? Is that what you mean?
You're going to get this guy in trouble.
I am. He has to elaborate.
He's saying you up for
failure,
bro.
Expound on this expression.
But I can dance in the rain and not get wet.
All right.
Nah, I not
Dr. Seuss on the line over here.
I know.
Dr. fucking Seuss. Go ahead.
What the fuck?
That's a virus. Stay off porn.
No, I would not hit him for feeling like he was a girl or something like that, but definitely like, you know, talk to him, probably extra aggressive with him.
All right.
I think definitely aggressive. I know what you mean, but I feel like aggressive is the wrong word.
What you
PC
mean?
police are gonna be
I feel
we would have a stern conversation, uncomfortable conversation. How about that?
It's like you're gonna be a little bit more direct and like hands on because it's Let
me tell you something, right? I'm just gonna answer the question myself. I think that Reggie knows because he's Haitian just like me. God forbid if my daughter come to me, tell me, look, I feel like I'm in the wrong body. We're gonna do what old school Haitians do. We're gonna every day.
This answer is gonna be very not PC, but go ahead.
Every day we're gonna go in the living room, get the Bible and hold hands and just sing Haitian song, Bon Dieu à la Ouga, and just hymns. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my past over. We're gonna I'm bringing out the works. This is what I was raised around. Like when shit like that go down, you bring the church. That's how Haitians do it. You bring. Go ahead.
But yeah, that shit don't work though, bro.
I feel like when you,
I just told you what I'm gonna do.
Especially with kids, I feel like when you when you fight them on something, even if they not that into it, because they fighting you on it, they just gonna go in deeper.
Resistance. Yeah, kids love
you
it.
have like there's so many girls I knew in high school that swore they were gay. They were lesbian. Like they got families now. They got 3 kids, so on and so forth. Like they're married to men, and there's nothing wrong with being gay or lesbian. If one of my kids came to me and was just like, "Yo, I'm gay," like I in the beginning, to be honest, coming up, I don't think I would have handled it as well as I would now, because like I'm a little bit more educated on the subject, and I feel like I would just, again, the whole counseling thing, give them support, ask them if they know what it really means, because you have a lot of women who you're like, "Oh, you think you're gay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm bi-curious." Well, do you want to put your face in a vagina? And it's like, no, I'm not really into that.
I was just thinking the exact same thing, bro, but I was like, nah, I can't say that.
It was like, have you had
That's
cravings for vagina? No, not really. I don't think I'm into that. But I think, some people go to women because they're hurt. Some people are, and I think they do a disservice to people who are actually gay and going through a struggle, because you're like sort of distracting from people who are actually going through something or feel some type of way. I would hope I'm super supportive. I think like I don't want my kids to go and commit suicide because they feel like they have to hide who they are in the church.
I'm taking them to Haiti. I'm going to Haiti. I'm just going to
Haiti.
Where they get stoned to death.
I can understand how a kid nowadays would be a little confused because there's so many signals. I don't even want to say mixed signals. There's so many signals that they are exposed to on a daily basis. There's signals from YouTube. There's signals from little apps, even if you only let them use one app, like a TikTok app. There's signals from what else is Netflix. There's signals from regular network television.
Matter of fact,
there's so many signals out there. Like I can understand how a middle school kid would be confused about their sexuality.
Because I feel like if you take a gay kid, they've been exposed to heterosexual culture their whole lives. It didn't make them more heterosexual. So,
but what age though?
But look,
I feel like,
go ahead, Ralph.
No, heterosexual is like straight. Like since you were a kid, all you've really seen is like subliminal, like heterosexual shit. Like anytime you're on TV, it's like 2 parents in a home. It's like a mom and a dad. It's like, you know what I mean? You haven't really, gay people have been around forever, but you haven't really seen a lot of gay stuff on TV till now. So a lot of people feel like it's heavy-handed, which I kind of felt the same way about, where it's like, all right, they're kind of beating you over the head with it. But I think it's to make up for the fact that it hasn't really been. You know what I mean?
I mean, and just to expound off that point or expand off it, in all seriousness, my opinion, and Link and I talked about this off the air, I really believe, I might get a lot of backlash for this, but I really believe if a kid is kind of growing up, in my opinion, I think the blame has to fall on the parents. It's like
the gay thing?
It has to, I'm not going to say all the time, but a big chunk of it, I think, in my opinion, because it's like I said, we talked about it off air. You have to kind of create a curated environment for your kids, especially with everything you just said, with the internet, social media. Like even though social media, internet, all this has kind of like helped advance life, but there's a polarity to it too. Like there's a like yin and a yang to everything. There's a pro and a con to everything. The cons is that you're exposed to a lot of evil. You're exposed to a lot of spirits. Not to sound like a super Haitian, but you're exposed to a lot of negative influence. You dig what I'm saying? If you go on your phone, like, let me tell you something. I'm at like, I forgot where I was, in the waiting room, and I went to Jeep to go service my Wrangler. Yeah. I'm sitting there on my phone, but I'm in a position where everybody's walking behind me, and every time somebody walk behind me, I'm scrolling through Instagram, it's ass or something just crazy on my, and it's not even
but
like
those are the people you chose to follow,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. That's why I have to create a curated environment and change my city, because I'm like, even the people that I'm following, they reposting, especially Facebook. Everybody's, and I do it too. I get caught up in it too, but you have to start seeing, like, look which, if you're young and you're impressionable, look what you're seeing. Every time you look up, you see a chick kissing a chick. You're listening to music, you're hearing like, yeah, you know, we could do it. We could have a threesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you're seeing. This is what these kids, they're like a sponge and they're seeing this. So it's like, it's changing their psyche a little bit. And so I say that, all that to make the point. I think the parents have to do a job. I think it's just parental control, like making sure I
think it's less media and it's the stuff that's around them. Like, for instance, like I remember.
Who controls it though?
Y'all remember, well, I mean, your kids are going to be spending more time at school than with you. So like when you look at, I don't know if you remember St. Vincent in Newark. St. Vincent, I remember, like,
Ralph,
you know, I had a lot of friends. You can only control your kids so much. Yeah, you can create a curated environment in the home, but like Reggie said, they're going to be at school And I think that's where they pick it
more.
up. Like if you have like two friends who are like gay, to fit in, you'll be like, oh, I'm gay too, and you're gonna wear like high school, wear a bunch of rainbow shit. It doesn't mean you're gonna go out and sleep with a girl.
Depending on your foundation, you won't stray far away. You know what I mean? It depends what the cord is tied to. You won't go far away.
So Rob, you saying you think you could stop? You think you could stop your child, not my niece, Paige, but like say for instance a no-name child. You think you could stop your child from being gay?
I don't think you could stop it. My point is, my point. What I'm saying is, you can help. You can help it. You know what I mean? Kind of just
what are you helping?
Help, like you know what I mean? It's just about
what are you
help them be straight.
No, not help them be straight. What's the question again? Can you stop them from being gay?
You can't.
If they're already there, then it's too late.
But I feel like if you're really gay, you've been gay. Like you can't. It's not like a switch that goes off. I feel like anyone who's not gay is just like, for whatever reason, like a boy hurt you, so now you think you're a lesbian, or you're trying it out, or you're experimenting because you're not off guys right now, or whatever. It is what it is.
I just believe a lot of that stems from the foundation, the first few years of their life. What were they surrounded?
I know a girl.
What were they surrounded?
I know a girl.
Or what wasn't around?
I'll give you an example. I know a girl who
disagree with that.
Who was like molested by a guy, and her being a lesbian at the time was her coping because she couldn't be with a man.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's just one of those things, and I feel like
but we're talking about kids. We're talking about
kids get molested. You just
said that girl changed her lifestyle because something traumatic happened to her. So if a kid is about 8 years old and he's deciding like, I don't want to be this, I want to change my whole life. It was something in the beginning that just went.
No, that's one example of something that happened hypothetically. But if your kid comes to you and is like, listen, I genuinely feel like I'm gay.
You weren't paying attention. Whoever that was, you weren't paying attention. How could you not see? If you really pay close attention,
honestly, when this stuff happens, it happens with someone you know. It's not a stranger that comes and does something to your kid. It's like someone you know.
You saying that you can curate an environment to kind of curb steer your kid away from homosexuality. Like I've been to. First of all, you saying that because of like culturally and because of religion, you could stop that being Haitian and being Christian. But I know mad people from MOC that are gay or lesbian.
Me too. But listen,
so if they have the cultural strictness and the traditions of Haitian, right, and of Haiti rather, and then they have the religious backing. They parents. I've lived in a Haitian household. I know how it is, but then again, their daughter is right there gay. Like, so how do you feel like you will have the advantage over?
Well, let's get back to my whole point. Preference. My whole point, what I said is, kids today growing up have a lot of influence as opposed to an opposite to us, in contrast to us. We didn't have so much of social media in our hands, so I say it's a lot more difficult for them. So my opinion, to kind of put in a preemptive plan, is to kind of curate the environment. Like, you know what, limit the social media use. But I said when I was in Wrangler,
go to school.
But that don't have nothing to do with homosexuality.
It will help the chances, though. I'm not saying it's a foolproof plan.
I don't agree.
It will help
because they're going to go to school. You going to homeschool your kid?
I think people, you guys, or not you
guys. Are you
guys,
homeschooling your kid?
I would if I could.
Bro,
so when they go to school, they spend 8 hours. They spend like 8 hours at school every day.
To me, it sounds like a lot of people don't realize how much influence the household has on a child. I don't think people underestimate that.
It becomes limited after a while because, again, you're spending more time at school than at home.
If you really want to see this is just in general. If you really want to see who somebody is, follow them home. Follow them home. Anybody you see, if you bullies in school. Let me say this: bullies in school. If you follow them home, is somebody abusive there? That's
not all the time. This is not Saturday.
But you're talking about ones off. You're talking about one off. Nah, for most
let me ask you.
All bullies I know, it was somebody fucking them up at home.
Who was more influential on you when you were a kid? Like, say 8th grade to high school. Your parents or your friends at school?
I agree with you. It was my friends. But the thing is, I wouldn't go too far because of what my parents instilled in me. You understand what I'm saying? Because
of course. I drink at home. So people that was gassed over alcohol, because my dad would let me have a beer and he was just like, you know what I mean? So when I got to college, people that was like getting drunk because they never drank before, right. I wasn't one of those kids because I wasn't like off that.
Right.
But at the same time, kids are stupid. Because like you don't know enough about like it's just a scientific fact.
I feel like
kids don't think about consequences.
Right, but I feel like we're moving the fences a little bit. The question was,
we're going.
I feel like the question was, how do you? My opinion, it starts at home. You can help. You can influence. You're the first influence. You're the first example of anything to your child. Of anything. That's not to say that's a foolproof plan. That's not to say it's not going to happen anyway. All I'm saying is the parents have a major influences. What kind of city do you raise? Would I support if you wanted to change?
No, I mean, would you support your kid if they were like, listen, I'm gay, so on and so forth? And to your argument.